Well, joining us now, Congressman Jeff Crank. He's a Republican from Colorado. Congressman, nice to see you today. The House has been out of session for nearly 2 months. What can we expect later today?
Well, we are finally going to end this shutdown, and I'm excited about it. I came in this morning and saw some of the Capitol Police officers who've been protecting us the whole time and high-fived them and told them we're going to get it done today. I think later this afternoon, maybe late this evening, we will vote to end this shutdown, and we'll send it over to the president, who will sign it immediately.
All right. Well, your Democratic colleague, Congresswoman Julie Johnson, is accusing Republicans of failing to act to bring down rising health care premiums. Listen.
Republicans have been kicking this can down the road for a very long time. They've had a lot of false promises about willing to work out the ACA. They've just failed to do anything. And so now what they were saying is, well, give us one more, try, pinky swear promise, and then we'll do it. And Democrats, I just don't believe them.
Yeah, so what is going to happen to health care? Democrats, it appears for the critics who think they're the ones to blame for this shutdown, that they took all these needs and resources for people hostage, essentially, for the critics who say that. But then at the same time, who's the president? Who has the House? Who has the Senate right now? Are you concerned your party is going to be shouldering some of the blame?
Well, look, this is a typical example. It almost reminds me of a bunch of kid pyromaniacs who lit a house on fire. And for 6 weeks, they denied that they were the ones that lit the house on fire. They were pointing at everybody else, blaming everybody else. And then when the big brother steps in, 8 Senate Democrats step in and say, maybe you ought to come clean on this. They continue to say, not only did we light the house on fire, but we kind of wish it was still burning. I mean, this is insanity what's happened. They are to blame for this government shutdown. They voted 15 times to not reopen the government. Most of them will vote tonight to not reopen the government. On the health care issue, it's very simple. Of course, health care is a mess. My premiums are outrageous. The American people demand change. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, is broken. That's the system that needs to be fixed. And we need to work hard to get that done. But we can't do it when we're not open. We need to get open and then work to fix those problems.
Well, look, Republicans, since the beginning, I remember these were talking points even of the Tea Party, too. When Obamacare was rolled out, that was the concern, is that when the subsidies ran out, and then after, COVID and everything and the extensions, that would just, without a doubt, be a problem. But it does appear that the Democrats, their sticking point has been health care. It's a noble cause, isn't it? I mean, people are going bankrupt in this country because they can't afford medical care. When is Speaker Johnson and Trump going to come together, figure out something that Democrats could potentially agree to as well?
Yeah, well, sure, it's a noble cause. It's not noble cause enough to starve Capitol Police officers and TSA agents and everybody else. Of course we need health care, but the way that they went about it was all wrong. Look, Speaker Johnson and the House caucus, the House Republicans, are going to put pressure on our leadership. We know we've got to do something on health care. There's lots of things that we can and should do, and we really need to focus on that over the next several months to get this solved. But again, you can't solve it by just burning the house down.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to switch gears and talk about this. This feels like the year of protests, whether it's anti-Israel, anti-ICE, anti-Trump, the No Kings protests. These protesters have been accused of, being paid. We see the same sort of tents, the same hats, the same T-shirts, the same sorts of signs and things. I mean, there's some new information out right now. We've got the founder of a paid protester group. It's called Crowds on Demand, and he's calling on Congress to pass a bill that aims to shed light on the funding of demonstrations, and he wants Congress to regulate companies like the one that he runs. His name's Adam Swart, and you're probably familiar. He's spoken to News Nation several times, defending the practice of paying protesters. Listen.
To me, I think paying protesters is just reasonable part of the discourse, just like you'd pay attorneys, just like you pay talk show hosts, anyone else. Crowds on Demand, the people that we compensate, are people who are passionate about the cause, enthusiastic about the subject matter.
All right, so now Swart, in a letter to lawmakers, this is what News Nation has been able to uncover here, writing, quote, unlike political advertising, which requires donor transparency, protest activity operates in a regulatory blind spot, even when it is clearly designed to sway public perception or pressure lawmakers. What do you think his end game is here?
Well, look, this is what we've seen more and more of, and I think it's after the rise of social media, right? This sort of manufactured anger or almost hatred, and we've seen it spill over into hatred that people are doing. And again, I don't think it's a good thing for our country that we have people out there paying protesters to show up and do it. It is totally manufactured. They show up at my office on a regular basis. It's always the same issue. Until it isn't, and then until they tell them what the talking points are. That's not what our democracy is about. That's not what our republic is about. We can do better than that. And so I do think that these things, there ought to be transparency in this. It's just like there is if someone gives a member of Congress or a politician a campaign contribution, we should know where these people are being funded.
Yeah, without a doubt, transparency is key. All right, Congressman Jeff Crank, thank you so much.